Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. I actually did go watch it a couple weeks ago at the time of this video, and I thought Infinity Castle was actually stunningly beautiful in terms of animation and art style, as the series is. I think Demon Slayer in general is a visual feast. The action scenes are amazing, and the emotion that is portrayed in certain scenes really do impact me. The one critique I have for the Infinity Castle, or actually one of a couple critiques I have of the Infinity Castle movie, in my opinion, is that, like the series, it feels like things are rushed. We're just going from, action scene to action scene, which I thoroughly enjoy. But that being said, it feels like the moments of drama or emotional beats are just really rushed through, and that affects things like character development, where we don't really learn too much about the general cast aside from our main character Tanjiro, and when we do get some sort of character background or motivation or just backstory of villains and other, our supporting cast, I feel like it's always a little too late. Like we see these cool villains or cool looking characters and see them in action, but then we don't really get too much about their motivation or what drives them to do what they're doing, especially the villains, until basically, we see them like in the process of dying or saying goodbye, and then all of a sudden we get a drama dump. And then we're just forced to feel emotion and feel sympathy for these characters, no matter the horrible things they've done as the villains, or as little of character development we've seen from some of our heroes. And it's a shame, because when these scenes happen where we're just getting drama dumped, I honestly do feel it and I do sympathize, but I feel like it's not earned. It's really forced onto me as the viewer. I don't know if you guys share the same sentiment. I think that's a big flaw from Demon Slayer in general. Specifically the anime is really that the character development in general for a lot of these characters is not there. We don't really learn much about them, and then once we get to the end of a character, whether it's a villain or one of our heroes, we're given a monologue from the character with a montage of their background and their motivation and all that. And the visuals and the way those scenes are put together, I think, are impactful. But I think the impact of the character themselves is lost, because on the journey to that point of their last appearance, we're not getting much from them. So I feel like it's not earned. And from what I've actually heard from a friend of mine who actually has read the whole manga, is that the manga does a very good job of developing all the characters and letting the reader spend time with the big cast of characters and villains and learning more about them. When those moments happen that we lose a character, we really do feel the sympathy for them, or we really feel that the loss and the emotional impact that loss has is earned. That's all to say that in general, Infinity Castle, I really did enjoy it. I think as a theater experience, it's great. The only other thing I would say is that if you haven't watched the anime and you're not all caught up, you definitely are going to feel lost at first, because it literally picks up right after the last season, and it doesn't provide any recap. Unlike another movie, Dandadan Evil Eye, which is the first 3 episodes of season 2, in that movie, they provided a recap of season 1 in the form of a quick montage to kind of get you up to date if you haven't watched season 1. And so I think Demon Slayer Infinity Castle would have actually benefited from having like some sort of quick recap of maybe the previous season, and if not the previous season, at least like a few of the previous episodes of the previous season. So other than that, though, I thought they added to the art style and the animation. The action scenes were out of this world. Honestly, it was heart pumping. Like I was like really into the visuals and the action scenes. But my only thing is, again, the lack of character development and then drama dumps that we get throughout not only this movie, but the series. And we got 2 specific parts in the movie that I felt like it would have been better if we got a little bit of the character's backstory before those moments. Because when it happened, it was sad and I felt it, especially, I don't want to give any spoilers, but one of the antagonists, we get hit with like a lot of their backstory as they're literally dying. And it did impact me. I'm not gonna lie. It actually brought out a few tears because, you know, the creators of the movie and the anime do such a good job of really, like, you know, illustrating the emotion and the animation, but also the voice acting. I mean, that's another thing that Demon Slayer does great, is the voice acting. The voice acting is premium. You know, the voice acting is really, really solid, and the actors do such a good job of emoting, you know, what the characters feel and everything. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of Pop Pulse and you'd like to stay up to date on the latest news on anime, gaming, and comic book, TV, and movie adaptations, sign up for a free and easy to read newsletter, Pop Pulse Digest. And to watch more, check out this next video.